to session 7. Thank you for joining us here at TCCA 2020. This year is our 10th anniversary, and we are so excited to have attendees from literally all over the world joining our conference this year. My name is Andy, and I'll be hosting this session along with my co-host, Sarah. Before we get started, I do want to go over a few things with you. If you have any questions during the presentation, please post them in the comment section. Our co-host, Sarah, and our comment manager Tara will be monitoring the comments, and they'll be jotting them down, and we will provide them at the end for discussion. So please do not log out of the session before receiving the password for the certificate. You cannot access the certificate without the password, and I will post that towards the end. But now I am going to go ahead and introduce to you our presenter, Courtney Watson. Hello, Courtney.
Hello.
How are you? I'm good. I'm so excited to have you. So, okay, Courtney, I'm going to go backstage and I'm going to let you take it away. Okay?
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Okay. So let's get started. I am, of course, a little bit nervous. This is my second virtual presentation, but the first one was recorded ahead of time, and then we just kind of watched it and then had a live Q&A after. So bear with me. Hopefully my nerves will calm down in a little bit. So I want to first go ahead and welcome you to Find the Sweet Spot. And we're going to talk about some more Google tips and tools and tricks that you can hopefully use starting tomorrow. Obviously, G Suite is full of applications that we could not cover in its entirety at one time. But I just wanted to remind everybody that it's really just a collection of tools that can be used for collaboration and productivity. Sorry, my computer is going a little slowly. Hopefully we'll get it together. So I am Courtney Watson. I'm an instructional technologist at Conroe High School and Conroe ISD. I am in my 19th year of education. So I started when I was like probably 5 or 6 years old. Don't worry about the math. But I taught English and reading, language arts, dyslexia, all those types of things. This is my second year as a full-time instructional technologist or instructional technology coach. And it's been a great time. All right, so let's just get into it. So I wanted to do a little bit of polling. So right now on the screen, you can see if you have a secondary device like your phone or something, you can grab and scan that QR code. You can go to the address down at the bottom, menti.com. But where you can just go is go to menti.com, MENTI.com, and then enter in this code 9022883. This screen is going to come down, but don't fret because the code will still be up there for you. So I'm going to pop over here. All the things. Come on. Just thinking about it. All right. Okay. So again, the code is 9022883. If you just go to menti, MENTI.com, spaces aren't necessary. So 9022883. And even if that's not showing, it's right up here at the very top, that code that you need. All righty. And I just thought this was funny. Oh, it's the things I have Googled, because we all have to run to the Google, right? Okay, dokie. So our first one, there are 2 types of people in this world. Which one are you? We've got some organized people. I try to be number 1. Doesn't always happen that way. Oh, now it's evening out a little bit. So we have our lovely people over here who have just their folders, everything in its place, and then these folks. All right, let's go on to the next one. So has remote or hybrid learning, or whatever is being called wherever you are, has that affected student engagement levels? I feel like that's kind of a question like we all know the answer to this question, but are you seeing the same sort of engagement you were seeing before, or has it changed? And this one actually has 2 questions that you you can see, so it's a ranking and it's going from lowest to highest. How would you rate your students' level of engagement since the pandemic? So being low being like none. And then how often do you use formative assessments with your students? Going from not often at all to 10 being I use them all the time. That's kind of what I was thinking with these questions. So while we have the answers coming in, I just wanted to talk about this is Menti. If you haven't heard of it, it's Mentimeter is the name of it. It's a online polling, similar to like Poll Everywhere and some other sites like that. It is a freemium model. I'm using the free version, which allows you 2 questions and then unlimited other like image slides and things like that. But that's why I figured out how to slide 2 questions into this one spot. Okay, so we're kind of, at about a 4.4 as far as engagement goes, and then also talking about formative assessments. And so that's a couple of the things that we're going to look at today. So I will pop back over here. Let's see if we can get this back full screen. Alrighty. So our plan for today, my goals, as always, were a bit lofty, and I probably have like 50 some odd slides. I promise you will not see all of them, so don't stress out. But I am an overpacker, and what I have in this presentation, and you'll have links to it as well. I don't know if I said that, but it's going to be links and templates and things that you can go back to. So I overpack on purpose with the idea that you're going to go back and then explore as you need to. So what I plan to cover is a few things in Chrome. We'll talk about a few extensions, some different ideas for Google Slides, and some ways you can use Student Pear Deck for classroom engagement. And then I have a few bonus ideas included at the end. So this is just a quote that I saw over Twitter over the summer from Joe Merrill. EdTech is an and, not an or. Not an or. I think that became abundantly clear this past spring semester when we were all thrown into virtual learning or remote learning. We know that tasks and concepts always have to come first, but apps and tools also have a place. And we have to, I think our job is to figure out how we're going to put those two together. EdTech's not an option, and we've got to be able to effectively integrate that technology into our classrooms for our students to be able to create and collaborate and communicate more effectively. So this is how our sweet spot is set up. This is like your home base when you are looking at your copy of the presentation, which I don't know how that slide was up there long enough. So it's a bit.ly link, and I'll drop that so they can drop it over in the chat for you. And I have it in presentation mode. Give me 1 second because I can't type and talk at the same time. Okay, so it's bit.ly/TCCA2020 sweet spot. That one is going to be this presentation in presentation mode. And then I also have a version that you can make a copy of. So, and I'll make sure we get those dropped in there later. But the way this is set up is this is your home base, and you can technically jump around. So maybe you wanted to go straight to Pear Deck. You could click on Pear Deck and you would go to that Pear Deck section. The little ticket booth is always going to get you back to that home base. I tried because there were some slides where I accidentally covered it up, but I think I went through and made sure that it'll always get you back here. Okay. All right. So you're going to want to do that because, like I said, we are not going to cover every slide that I have in here. So let's get started with Chrome. We're going to look at just a few things with Chrome, and we're going to start off with pinning tabs. You can pin tabs when you are in your Chrome browser by right-clicking on the tab and then choosing Pin Tab. And this is what this little GIF is showing you. So the bonus of that is you cannot accidentally close those tabs because you have to actually unpin it in order to see the X. And then it should, when you close your Chrome browser, when you open it again, those pin tabs should always be there. So that's just a little trick that if people don't know, then it's just a good one to have. I tend to pin those sites that I go to every morning, so they're already there. Now, if you forgot to pin the tab and you accidentally close one and you're like, oh my goodness, I did not mean to close that one. This is just a good old favorite keyboard shortcut, sorry, Control-Shift-T. It's one of my favorites, and it works repeatedly. So if you do it and you close 5 tabs, it's going to open those last 5 tabs in the order that they were closed. This is also a good one when you're in the classroom and your students are on the computers and you go over and, sometimes that screen mysteriously disappears. And then you seem like a magician when you hit Control-Shift-T and, you can see what they were doing. Not that they're ever doing anything they should not be, right? All right. The next thing, I think this is new to Chrome, new-ish, maybe over the summer, maybe in the spring, is tab groups. So you can be a tab minimalist, somebody who just has a few tabs open at a time. And then there are my people, the tab collectors, who have a whole lot more. So whether you're a minimalist or a collector, you can just organize your tabs in a new way in Chrome, which is called tab groups. So all you do is right click to create your groups. You can give it a name and then include emojis in your name if you want to kind of make it stand out. And then they're all grouped into one section. And then you can move that entire tab group along the tab strip. And then you can click on it to open it wider and see all 3 or 4 tabs that are in there. Tab groups is another one that should stay and be saved when Chrome is closed and then when it's reopened. So you can group it by topic. Like, for example, I could have done a tab group for, this session. So I had all my sites, there. Some people are doing them by urgency, like to do, must happen, I have time, things like that. So it's whatever your imagination is how you can set up your tab groups. Bookmarks. I love bookmarks. You can add more real estate in your bookmarks bar. So this is one that you may have heard of, but if you haven't, I think it'll be a little bit of a game changer for you. It only takes 3 clicks and you can get more sites. So I think of, it's not in this one, but Control-Alt-Achieve is one of my favorite blogs. But that's a very long name. And so when you bookmark it, it puts the icon and then it has that long name and it actually says blog by Eric Kurtz, Control-Alt-Achieve, and it takes up a whole lot of room on your bookmarks bar. So what you can do instead, these little icons called favicons, most sites have their own. And so you can right click on the bookmark, click edit and delete all the wording and then save. And you'll be left with a favicon. I want to point out, so my district, Conroe ISD, is the C with the apple. So I have a few of those because, of course, the favicon is the same. So for those, I did go in and put maybe a one word. I also use emojis just to make them stand out so I know which one is which. But again, just a way to save a little real estate on that bookmarks bar. And then similar to grouping your tabs, which is a new thing, you can make folders in your bookmarks bar. I don't have any up here, so I took a little screenshot down here at the bottom. So if you have your folder, you can put into that folder things that you use a lot, and you can actually right click on the folder and then open all of those tabs at one time. So just something to know if that's not something you've tried before. Google's got lots of options. Okie doke. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about the idea of Chrome profiles. So this picture represents, so Amy Mayer, a friend of mine, y'all probably know her. She's the queen from Fry Technology. So I heard her describe it as having this little happy cloud above your head, and it goes everywhere with you. So when you log in to Chrome, and you say yes to sync, which kind of scares people. They're like, what am I agreeing to? Okay, all you're doing is allowing all the data that is in your cloud over your head, and you're kind of connecting to the computer, to that computer you happen to be logging in on. So if you're logging into your computer at work, or maybe you're in a colleague's office or classroom and you're logging into their computer, if you sign into Chrome, you're connecting all of that data and saying, I want to be able to access this. And then you just have to remember to cut that cord when you get ready to head out and go, to your next place. This one is especially helpful for shared computers. If you have floating teachers, if anybody's ever seen where somebody is logged into your computer and you can't get past where they were. And then this little picture up in the top corner, Chelsea Cody on Twitter a while ago said, think of Google Drive as your floppy disk in the sky, which I always wonder about sharing that one because I feel like it shows your age if you get that or not. Because most kids don't know what a floppy disk is. All right. So for profiles, let's talk about the idea of profiles versus adding accounts. So I personally have 2, 3, maybe 8 different Google accounts, and I'm sure there are some others out there like me. So I used to, I'm sure like many of you, click on my little username, and then click add account, and then sign into my other, Gmail account. Most people, that I know, they're that way. They're like, no, I know how to switch accounts. What are you talking about? What do you mean profiles versus adding accounts? If you are doing it that way, you've got to stop. Okay. There is a better way. I promise. You do not want to log in and out of different accounts in the same browser window. If you've ever seen this screen, you know the struggle when you're switching between accounts and you get that dreaded request access. If you're sharing things with your students and you get all of those emails coming in, I just want you to keep in mind that requesting access fully is a different story for a different day. But just know that usually when you see this lock screen, it's because you're in the wrong account, meaning you're in a personal account and maybe you're trying to log into something from the school district, or the person may have shared it with and didn't set their permissions correctly. But most often, and especially for some of the things I'm going to share in this presentation, I've sent or included links that are file, make a copy. So you'll need to do just that, file, make a copy. Don't request access, and I'll be honest with you, because no one's probably going to even answer you when you request access. File, make a copy, and you'll be able to have your own version. Okay, so with profiles, you are signing into Chrome, to the Chrome browser, not just in the Google. So if you click on your name picture in the top right, and if you're not signed in or you never signed in there, it might just be a little kind of person icon. That's how you can sign into Chrome. I'm just going to ask you to sign into your Google account as well. So again, you're going into both of those. Then you can decide what you want to sync, and you can also manage people instead of adding accounts. So what it will do is create, sorry, let's go back. There's an option to add desktop shortcuts. Sorry, that word wouldn't come to me. So I have different icons for each profile that I have. So if I click on this one with my little Bitmoji, I know that this is the one where I'm logged into, say, TCCA and schedule. It opens in a window all by itself. All of those tabs are with that Gmail account, croj1. If I want to go into my district account, then I go into that one. It's all of the things for my school district. You don't have that crossover between your personal accounts and your professional accounts. This is a great option for you personally, but also to share with students and parents, especially those who are still dealing with remote learning. Getting those accounts mixed up happens all the time. Share with those shared devices. And so Chrome Profiles is a way for you to kind of solve that problem. A side piece of that is you can also customize those different profiles. So you can use themes to identify your different accounts. So in the Chrome Web Store, you can get themes. There are lots of them in there, and they're free. So when I open one of those desktop shortcuts, I can tell just from the background also which account I'm in. My school district doesn't allow themes, so I know that the boring white one is my school account. But again, just another way to make sure that you're not crossing over those different accounts, and you can make those profiles stand out. Something that I didn't notice, and I don't really have a picture of it here, was if for some reason your district is like mine and doesn't offer themes, or if you just want to change it, the next time you go to Google and you open a new tab, look in the bottom right corner, and you should see a little pencil that will let you customize it. You can upload your own images, so you can make a picture. I have one that has I made a little office scene with the Bitmoji craze, and it has my Bitmoji on there, and that's my actual background when I change and open different tabs. So as far as how to make your profile, how do you create it? Casey Bell has taken care of it for us from Shake Up Learning. So she has a video that will walk you through the process. So she's going to show you the wrong way that most of us were doing because it seems to make the most sense. She's going to show you how to fix that, which is basically going all the way back to scratch, logging out of everything, and then starting to build those Chrome profiles. And then she's going to show you how you can use Google Chrome to go between the different accounts. So what I have for you here is the actual video, and then her blog is also linked below. So if you're not a video person and you like step-by-step directions, she has this directions written out. It's just more of a process than we have time to actually do and walk people through. But I promise, if you are not using Chrome profiles, it will be a game changer. Okay, do we have any questions about that before we move on? Okay, I'll keep going. Alrighty, so I want to look at a few extensions. First of all, extensions are just little small bite-sized software pieces that will add some extra capability to your browser. You, of course, find them in the Chrome Web Store. So the same place where we found those themes, you can find extensions. So they live here in your browser bar right next to the Omnibox. And then I'm not sure how recent this is now, but it's been there for a while. They have this quick access button now that you can access all of your extensions. And so now there's like a little pin, and you can pin the extensions that you want to be here, the ones that you want to access often. All right, so we're going to look at a few that I think are some time savers for you and possibly for your students. Okay, so the first one I wanted to talk about is use Immersive Reader on websites, unofficial. And yes, that's the full name of it. So to be clear, this is not an official version of Immersive Reader in any way, if you're familiar with it, but it certainly offers some of the many benefits and accessibility features that you would find in your Microsoft products. So the idea is that using Immersive Reader can increase fluency for your English language learners. It can help build confidence for those emerging readers or those that are learning to read at those higher levels. It can also offer some text decoding solutions for our students that have some learning differences. So again, it is a Microsoft product by creation, and we're talking about Google Chrome. So there was no way to use it when you were in the Chrome browser, like the majority of our schools who probably have Chromebooks. So this extension is an unofficial one, but it looks just like the Immersive Reader environment. So the video that I have linked for you here is going to walk you through installing the extension and what it looks like. And then I also linked to a second video that shows a little hack on how you can use the extension to work with PDFs. So I am going to pop out because, we have to tell people when we're going to stop doing things. And I have an article over here from Newsella. You got it. Okay, usually, so now you can see my extensions here in the top right corner. Usually what you would do is just click on an extension to turn it on. This one works a little bit differently. It's a right click to access. So I am going to go and grab some text, that picture, and I'm going to right click and do help me read this. So this, if you've seen Immersive Reader before, then it does look like the general Immersive Reader environment. So you can do different things. So it's a text to speech.
Sarah Rose Braithwaite looks straight into her computer's camera.
I hope y'all can hear that. I think I remember to share with sound. You have a few options here where you can adjust the voice speed and choose male or female. Not too much you can change there. So you have text preferences. You can adjust the text size. You can increase spacing. So there's a little bit, more space between your words. Some font options. You've got some different color options here. So if you think like those color overlays that some students might use, might be an option. And for those with visual issues, you have the grammar options where you can turn syllables on or off. You can have the parts of speech labeled and show a color. And you can either show labels or not, or just some great options there. And then my favorite has got to probably be under reading preferences. So a few things. You have line focus. Okay, so we can do 1 line, 3 lines, depending on how large your text is. It can go up to 5. You can turn that on or off. There's a picture dictionary. So if there is a word, that's a good one, that's going to have a picture, it will show up for you. And then my favorite is the translation. So you can translate. The last time I was in here, I did Spanish, but there are over, I don't know how many now, a lot. There are a lot of languages in here. Let's grab Chinese. So you can translate by word. So I'm gonna come back to horse.
Horse.
We have it in English and Chinese in our picture dictionary, but you can also translate by document. And so that's going to translate literally the entire document.
沙拉、罗斯、布雷斯维特直视着电脑的
Text-to-speech still works, but then you also have access to both languages. So I think that's where it's great for our students. They can go back, they can see it in both English and whatever language they've translated it to. And then you just pop back out and go back to your article. Okay, let's pop back over here. I love Immersive Reader, and so I know I spent a little bit more time on that one, but if you haven't seen that one before or you're not using it, it's just one of those that you need to see. All right, so I can click forward. There's an app called Office Lens. It's only on iOS, but you can scan documents, pictures, whiteboards, and it also opens in Immersive Reader. So if you are a school or your students have iPhones or a school that's using iPads, this might be an app to look into because they can scan those books that they're reading and then have that Immersive Reader option. All right, let's pop over. Where are we? Okay. Web Paint, if you need to mark up web pages. I know a lot of us are still out there doing virtual teaching and using Zoom and Google Meets and sharing those websites, and you need a way to show things to your students. Again, I have for you a video that's going to kind of walk you through, and you can take a screenshot when you've marked up your page. That can be downloaded or printed. This is a good one for students too, if they need to annotate. Maybe they're reading something online and they need to annotate. That screenshot option would then let them be able to save their work. Tab scissors and tab glue is just one that I don't like to skip over. I'm a double monitor girl. I don't know how people make it with one monitor, but if I don't have access to this, then I'm always going to need to split my screen. So this one is super helpful for teachers, but students too. So what if they're watching a video and they have to also complete some questions? They can have the video on one half of their screen and then the questions to show up on the right. So when we're talking remote learning, maybe they're in a Google Meet session with you, but you want to host or run a Kahoot. So they would need to be able to see the Kahoot screen, but then also their screen. This is when tab scissors and tab glue come in handy. They work kind of like they sound. Tab scissors is going to separate your tabs into different screens, different windows, and then tab glue is going to put all of those tabs back together. I do also like to throw out there, because like I said, I love a keyboard shortcut. On a PC, the Windows key and the left or right arrow will automatically snap your screen to half of the window size. I'm sure we've all been there where we're trying to resize it and you move it over too far and it pops back up and fills the entire screen. So Windows key and the left or right arrow, and on a Chromebook, it's the Alt key plus the left or right bracket, and that will automatically resize it. Custom cursor is an extension that I really overlooked for a while because I thought it was just something like kind of cutesy. But what it's going to do is draw attention on your screen. Again, this one came up to be super helpful when you're talking about remote learning and you're trying to show and talk over a computer screen. So instead of having your regular white pointy triangle and the little finger, you can go and get different colors. They have a holiday pack, and it's called Custom Cursor because you can customize it. So you can see I went in and took my little Bitmoji. So there's one when I'm pointing at things, and then there's a version when something is clickable. So again, just an easy way to help point things out. So a fun one, but it also serves a purpose. Wakelet. Oh, I love Wakelet. It has been a game changer for remote learning. It's great for personal use when you're bookmarking content from the web and you're organizing and curating things, but it's also a game changer in the classroom. This is a company that's kind of fully adopted the education sector. So they have a lot of changes to Wakelet that are geared towards education. I actually have a session in the last hour called Catch the Wakelet Wave, where I'll go into all the details about it. So if you want to check that one out. But also for here, I have this little one pager that'll give you a little overview. And again, I always include a video so you can check it out and see if it's one you want. Let's go. Can't leave out Bitmoji. Most of us probably know about it, but just in case, there's a Bitmoji extension. So you can have your account. You don't have to have Snapchat, so don't worry about that. But there's an extension that you can add to your Chrome browser, which then lets you easily pull in your Bitmoji to your Gmail and things like that. It's a copy and paste. You can add it anywhere. I know a lot of people, teachers use it for feedback when they're grading things. And then the other good thing is that on this one, when you're using the extension, you can also put in custom text. And I'll show you, and I'm sure I have one of my Bitmojis in here somewhere that has custom text. And that comes from the extension. Okay, the last extension that I wanted to talk about by name is Extensity. And this is kind of getting into that meta extension because it's an extension for your extensions. So once you start to delve into adding these extensions, you want to look at something that's going to manage them all. There's another one out there called the Great Suspender that you might want to check into, because having too many extensions will use up memory and start to slow up your browser usage when you're online. So you want to use something like Extensity to quickly turn things on and off. This one I like because you can put your extensions into groups, so that if you have some that you don't use on a regular basis, you can always have them off and then just go turn them on when you need them. So it'll keep your browser running fast and just being lean. All right. Now, I'm going to share a couple more places where you can go and check out a whole lot of extensions, but remember, it's a rabbit hole. Okay. So be prepared. You do not have to get every single extension out there that you've ever heard of or that everybody has told you about. I went to a couple of sessions already today and got 5 or 6 more. And I have to remind myself, calm down. Find 2 or 3 that seem to do something that you needed to do and then go with those. But a couple more places you can check. We have New EdTech Classroom, who's going to give you 16 must-have Google Chrome extensions. Joe Marquez, I think, has about 42 in no particular order that he recommends. And then Shake Up Learning, Casey Bell has a database of 160 plus Chrome apps and extensions for teachers and students. Okay. But I don't want anybody to say I did not warn you, because it is for sure a rabbit hole. Okay. All right, let's jump into slides. So we know it's similar to PowerPoint, so it can be used for presentations, but it can do so much more. So first I want to talk about some built-in accessibility. You may have noticed it because I have been using my presentation right now with the closed captions. That's built in. It's a part of Google Slides, and sometimes people just don't notice it. When you present, you just tap the CC button down on your bar to toggle it on or off. You can adjust your text position and the size. And again, it's just a great option for when you are recording. If you're making videos for your class and you're recording with like Screencastify or the tool of your choice, it's going to be helpful for you to caption those videos because they'll stay with you as you're recording the screen. Let's go over to inserting audio. Google added this for us probably about a year ago. It was there and they took it away, but now it's back and it's been back for good. They worked out all the kinks. So it's found under Insert and Audio. It puts a little default icon. It does have to come from your Google Drive. So you have to record somewhere and then upload that MP3 file. And I usually just make a folder. I make a folder called audio, or maybe if it's for a specific project, I still have the project and inside that folder, an audio folder. And I go ahead and set the permissions on the folder that anyone with the link can view. So then you don't worry about when you insert the audio into your presentations or into your slides, you won't have to worry about students not being able to access. What I have here is a website literally called Online Voice Recorder. There's another one called Vocaroo. That's a good one. This one's real simple. You go, you hit record. You can trim a little bit from the end and from the beginning and the end. You save it. It'll save it to your downloads, and then you can just rename it and quickly upload it to Google Drive. So that's just one to check out. This is the default icon, but it's still just a picture. So you can always replace that picture with anything. Oh, I did record something.
This is just a sample recording. This is just a sample recording.
Promise I didn't want to hear that again. Sorry. So that's what this picture is. I just replaced the image and got rid of that default icon. Okie doke. So I knew I had a picture in here for you to talk about closed caption. So you can decide, set your text position. I have mine up at the top. And then you can decide on the size. So again, just something that's super helpful when you are recording or using Google Slides. Another way I saw this used was while lecturing, a teacher opened a blank Google slide, just the one slide, turned on closed caption, and it was on the board. This is, of course, in-person teaching. If you have a pretty good microphone, it will pick it up. You'll notice a few mistakes, but it also sort of autocorrects as you finish your statement. So then it's just a great idea to have captioning for anyone with any sort of hearing impairment, just beneficial. One other thing, if you didn't know, when you're running a presentation in Google, if you need a quick black screen, if you hit B, you can get a black screen, and the same thing works for W and get a white screen. just something that, hey, you never know, you might need it. All right, so let's talk. We know Google Slides. You've probably in your class had students doing a project and a presentation. We all know those same basic 23 themes that you can choose in Google Slides. The half the screen is teal and the other half is black. And we know all of them. There's the one with the little orange in it, okay? There are some sites out there, and I'm gonna start with my favorite, which happens to be Slides Mania. There's another called Slides Carnival. There's one called Slides Go. But Slides Mania is my favorite. The lady's name is Paula. She's a creator. She lives over across the pond, and she's not even in education. She's in the financial sector, but she said that she loves making these. This is her downtime, to be creative. And it started out as helping her. She has a child in elementary school. So what I have for you here, this is just a sampling from her education category from the past spring remote learning season. So she made a lot of different themes that would work for like digital choice boards or daily activities, weekly planners. I don't think I have any of her notebooks. She has a lot of digital notebooks already set up for you. And when you go, you can download them as for PowerPoint, or you can make a copy for Google Slides. So again, I linked directly to these, but then you can also just go to Slides Mania, and there are a lot there. So like I said, we know that Google Slides can be so much more than just a presentation. So if you want to be able to go from, did I do that, to how did you do that, then Google Slides is the tool for you. So one of the first things that you probably want to be familiar with is page setup, which is going to be found under File. When you open Google Slides, it opens into that normal, slide layout because that's what it's meant to be, but that's not your only option. So again, it's File, and then you go down to page setup. You want to go to custom, and then you can set your size by inches, centimeters, points, or pixels. If you leave it at inches, make it 8.5 by 11. So it's like the size of a piece of paper. So where this comes in handy, Google Slides doesn't take PDFs. You cannot load a PDF onto a Google Slide, but it will take a JPEG. So I love PDF Candy. I know a lot of people out there figured out, oh, well, I'll just take a screenshot of this page. And that's going to save it as a JPEG or a PNG. And that works. But then sometimes I'm sure you'll notice when you stretch that out, it becomes pixelated. PDF Candy usually works better for your output. So you just take a PDF, you can go, there's all different options. JPEGs, Word, split your PDFs if you have 10 pages, but you only want one of those pages. PDF Candy is the answer for all of those. What else do I have on here for you? Oh, I have a link to this from Tony Vincent. He has the sizes for some custom cover images for regular sites and things that we use. He's got YouTube and Google Forms and Google Sites, and he tells you by pixels what your page setup would need to be in order to produce the best picture file. Let's see. All right. So the way you really want to get into Google Slides and start to really make some changes is by editing the master. Okay. So when you edit the master, what you're doing is going in and adjusting the layouts. So you can make some changes so your students won't be able to erase or accidentally delete anything. So you can kind of lock your design aspects in, but then also add in places where they will be able to interact with what you've created. And let's go look at that really quickly. I have this Freyer model as an example. Give it a second to load. Where are we on time? Okay. Okay, so here's my direction slide, and you will notice that I can't do anything with what's on this slide. And that honestly is by design. The only place where you can type is here where it says click to add subtitle, and then they could come in and type their name, because that's all I want them to do. All right, so slide 2, where I want them to go and use this Freyer model for whatever their vocabulary word is. I'm sure we've all seen, you put something out to students and they accidentally move something. Oh, miss, I can't find it. I don't know what happened. Or even they completely delete the slide some sort of way. It's magic how those things happen, right? All right, so this is where editing the master comes in. You can either go view master or under slide and edit master. In Google, there's always at least a dozen different ways to do something. You know you're in that edit the master area because it has that black background, okay? So again, here's my instructions. And now you can see that I can come in here and type if I wanted to, okay? But it's here in the master part, so you can't access it from that top side on slides here. So here is that table, but instead of having the table on the top, let's put it down in the master. So I have my text box here, and let's grab, I'm going to copy this one. I need one more, and I want them to use it in a sentence. And I actually shouldn't have copied, I should have shown you, because what you have to do in the master, you have some options. So we have the T for text box, but I need the little arrow right next to it. A text box is going to be information that you don't want them to be able to manipulate. So I don't want them to change my 4 headings. So that's why I would get a text box. Now, I do want them to be able to type in their information. So that's what the placeholder is for. It's literally holding a place for the text on when we get out of the master. I like subtitle placeholder, and then it works just like any other text box. You can't change the wording in there, that click to edit subtitle, that it's just there. But so now I'm going to come out of here. You can X or just come back over to your film strip. And like I said, what you're really doing is adding layouts. So now I have a layout, and I didn't show you that you could have changed the name of it. And so I can't do anything with this, but I can come in and type my definition. So that's just a quick overview of editing the master. Come back, mouse. There you are. What I have for you here is a short video. This is from Lauren Hawkins on Twitter, EdTech Hawk, and it's 3 or 4 minute video. But if you forget like how to do that, it's going to walk you through and remind you where to go back in just to edit the master. So hopefully that'll be helpful for you. Okay, let's speed this process along. I have also included a link to this presentation. My Twitter PLN, you hear me mention them all the time because that's all I do is find amazing things from everybody. Amanda Sandoval is at History Sandoval. Her and her team are in California, and this one literally is a playground. There's 9 different presentations within this one presentation. It is going to include choice boards, digital manipulatives, drag and drop activities, digital notebooks, ebooks, how to edit the master, make a digital handout from a paper version. So just all the things that you can do once you learn about editing the master. And then there's templates galore, okay? I am going to run past this one. This is a video from Richard Byrne, and he talked about how to app smash Google Slides and Screencastify so you can have a whiteboard when you're making a video. Another short one, but a great one. Let's see. This is from Meredith Akers, and she's talking about fonts. Google has a lot of fonts, and I think most people know that when you're looking in Google, you can go to fonts and then add more or more fonts, and then you can just search by different headings, different names. And then there's another site though called Font Joy, where you can find complementary fonts. So if you know you have one font you love, I love Boogaloo, and you want to find out what will look good with that, that's a good site to go there. This is a whole little game show. This side note is from Slides Mania, just FYI. But each one of these talks about a different font that you may not know exists, and you can just make a little change to your presentations that way. Let's see. All right, we are at, I think I have about 6 minutes, and we need to leave a couple minutes for questions. So of course, do not have the time that I really want to devote to Pear Deck. But I want you to know it's an add-on for Google Slides. It is available in PowerPoint as well as an add-in, but that's only for PowerPoint online. But it's going to bring your lessons to life with interactivity. It's a way for you to hear from all of your students. It's going to integrate with a lot of the tools that you are already using in your classes. Students can join from any device that has the internet. And then they'll be prompted to answer the questions that you provided on their own devices. And then it shows up on your teacher dashboard in real time. You can project the responses, but it's anonymous. And so it takes out that fear factor. We had a science teacher just this past week who in person, not even remote, she was like, her engagement is down. Kids are, they're quiet. We have the mask on. And she's like, it's like pulling teeth. And so one of our instructional coaches sat with her, did a quick little walkthrough with Pear Deck. And she used it with her students and then sent us the sweetest email, just as she was so excited because right there, she popped up the question, and if there were 10 people and she got 7 wrong answers, she knows who was wrong, but all the students' answers are anonymous. But she was able to correct it right then. And so she was like, and that was a surprise. That was just an added bonus for that one. Pear Deck I'm going to click through these slides for you. It is a freemium model. I have this great video here. It's 8 minutes tops, but it is a great overview of how to get started with Pear Deck. I promise this is the one you want to check out. Let's see. Sorry, my computer is going behind me because I'm showing a different slide. Okay, there we go. Pear Deck has immersive reader and audio. They have a vocabulary piece. That's part of the free side, just FYI. And then I also included this from Jake Miller from Eduductate, and he has this comparison because it always comes up. Is it like Nearpod or should I? It's not an either or. It's pretty much what you like. And usually it's what you were introduced to first. I was introduced to Pear Deck. I think it's a nice, easy way to slide in. So I think it's a good place to start, but then this is just there for you. All right, last little bit. At the end here, I have just some bonus things for you. So full presentation also from History Sandoval. All of those are clickable little videos to walk you through. All of these on this page are templates for hyperdocs and things already ready. Remember, file, make a copy, and you're good to go. This is another one. Each of these is on each different Google app, and each line is going to be a different little tutorial. This is Jamboard from the summer, and so it's a quick little walkthrough. This is also available in Google Apps for Education. A little bit about whiteboard.5. You need a free whiteboard that you have for the students. Drop it into a chat, post it in your LMS. The kids have their individual whiteboard. You see them all on your screen. Fast and Furious. Okay. So here we go.
Good job, Courtney.
In theory, covered all of these. Some of them we glossed over, but you've got the link that I'm going to put right back up here for you. I do have my feedback link, which is just bit.ly/CM Watson feedback. That's my personal link. If you would just, take the time, that would be great. But then here are the links, if you didn't catch them at the beginning, for the presentation. So the TCCA 20 sweet spot is in presentation mode. And then the TCCA 2020 Sweet Spot preview is the one where you'll have a little blue use template button, and you'll be able to make a copy and add the copy to your drive. So, okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Courtney. Great job. Lots of great info. I am going to say that there really were not any questions, all compliments. Really great job. So we only have 2 minutes. So for the attendees, I did want to ask, I know you're showing the link, but in Sched, did you upload your materials into Sched?
I only have an outline, and I will be sure to put it in there.
Yes,
it's not there yet, but it will be
when
I finish.
Okay, perfect. Because if you put your links in Sched, every attendee will get an email with that.
Got it.
Automatically.
Okay, perfect.
So that, because everybody is like, oh my gosh, I want this like right now. So anyways, attendees, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Courtney, so much for all this great information. She does have another session with Wakelets. So if you like her style, if you like what she's about.
And I might have door prizes, virtual door prizes. Just saying.
Door prizes. So here is the super secret word for this session. Where is it? What's session 7? The super secret word for session 7 is empower. So make sure you get access to that certificate. Please go check out the vendors because they make it possible for us to have a free, awesome conference with awesome presenters like Courtney. And I am showing her Twitter handle. Go follow her, keep in touch with her, and just see what other stuff she's got. But with that being said, guys, we are heading out, and we'll see you in session 8, hopefully. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.